See it a little bit by this whack job. You know, he said, we're weird. That JD and I are weird. I think we're extremely normal people. Like you, exactly like... He's weird.
There are 4 clear reasons why Trump is going to lose in November. Let's get into them. Starting with the first one, he's weird. You've heard it a lot recently. Trump and JD Vance are weird. But Trump, who is known to be the king of insults, doesn't have a response. He has no comeback.
Did you ever see him go on the stage and go like crazy? It's like, between his movement and her laugh, there's a lot of craziness. I'd say a step further than weird. Weird is a nice word by comparison.
From the childless cat lady comments to the very restrictive abortion stances from Trump and Vance to whatever this is from Trump's supporters, there is a general sense of weirdness about their campaign and their policies. It's off-putting to the average voter. So while they put Vance on the ticket to double down with the base, he's really alienating for middle-of-the-road voters. Swing voters are off-put by the very extreme stances from JD Vance and Donald Trump. So they're going to push away the voters they really need to win over if they have a chance at success in November, and they're not doing that. Number 2, and this is an offshoot of number 1, he's infatuated with Kamala Harris.
But she said one thing that got me. She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. So I decided to go back and reread the clause. I'm not saying he's, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Here he is complimenting her looks.
Actually, she looked very much like our great first lady, Melania. She didn't look like Camilla, that's right, but of course she's a beautiful woman, so we'll leave it at that, right?
And then of course during the Elon Musk interview, he made a very weird comment where he compared Harris and his wife Melania, saying they looked alike and he couldn't tell the difference. Harris being added to the ticket really threw Trump a curveball and he doesn't know how to swing. Up until Harris took over, Trump was running his campaign on autopilot. He was just hitting Biden on his age and incompetence. Now you have somebody who can complete a sentence and looks like a capable leader, and he doesn't know what to do. And you're seeing that play out here. Number 3, Harris made some interesting moves when she took over. Instead of listening to the people who were running Biden's failing campaign, she charted her own course. Advisors were telling her to lay off the weird comments, which would have been a bad move because that was one of the earliest galvanizing comments that people latched onto. It became a defining narrative for the Trump and Vance campaign. So much so that Tim Walz has made it one of his taglines. Now, people across the country see Trump and Vance and their policies as weird. That is effective branding for your opponent. Why would you dissuade your candidate from doing that? It's working. So ignoring them was a huge advantage for Harris. She trusted her gut and it seems to be working out. And you can see that in the polling. She has reversed some of Biden's deficits in key swing states. Those deficits, of course, were why he was prompted to drop out. And now she has gained that ground and taken the lead. Number 4, Trump's campaign doesn't have the juice.
Years passed when people heard from a candidate maybe once. Today, they often hear elements of the stump speech dozens of times, and it frankly gets boring. That's why long speeches and hour-long rallies don't win elections. What makes a campaign exciting is when a candidate says or does something unexpected. That's the opportunity for Mr. Trump now.
His base is growing exhausted. They've seen him for 3 cycles now. There's nothing new coming out of him. He's running tired old bits from 3 cycles ago. He's talking about TiVo again. That was outdated when he tried it in 2016. He's doing it in 2024. We have YouTube TV now. We have the future. It is here now. But jokes aside, he's not energizing his base.
Whatever you want to say about Trump, he really has, he's been entertaining in a kind of demented way. And as I watched his presser at Bedminster on Thursday, I thought, what a bore. What a bore this man has become.
Well, and part of his appeal all along, or part of his political power, has been that he understands the medium of television very well. And you saw flickers of that, right? He had all of the products there lined up at that Bedminster press conference. Like, he understands entertainment, he understands television, but he can't control himself.
There's nothing new. There's nothing invigorating. JD Vance, again, is weird, but he's also stale. He's just a low-rent Trump wannabe. People are leaving Trump's rallies early because he's boring. It's the ramblings of a madman for 90 minutes. Who wants to sit through that after waiting for hours before he even takes the stage? And while you can read into the polling, you see that middle-of-the-road Americans, centrist voters or swing voters, are fed up with him.
We know Donald Trump. We know that every time he opens his mouth, there's nothing but lies, insults, and vulgarity. And people are tired of it. The American people don't want this anymore. They don't want a president who basically divides us. They don't want a president who calls us names, who cannot even pronounce the name of the vice president of the United States.
What they don't want.
Kamala Harris.
Okay.
They know what a Trump presidency looks like. They know what happens if he loses. You look at January 6th, and while sure, a lot of his base likes it, most Americans don't approve of it. They like our system. They don't want a system where somebody is a sore loser and tries to overthrow the government. The average person isn't in support of that. So on top of him just being boring because he's old and frail and losing his mind, the guy is a lunatic. He's anti-democratic and he poses a major threat to our system. So all of those factors together results in a decaying campaign that's losing energy. He doesn't even want to campaign himself. Look at the campaign trail. Harris and Walz are campaigning all over the country while Trump sends JD Vance out for photo ops. Trump is busy doing press conferences at his golf clubs. He'd rather stay home and play golf than go out and campaign. He doesn't even want to do this. His heart isn't in it. And all of those things together is going to result in Trump losing and hopefully being eliminated from any future campaign.